Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends all across the globe today, and welcome back to Capron Park Zoo. Yes, it has been a little bit since we actually had the last episode, which was the Go episode. And yeah, I'm joined by two very good friends today. First, I'm joined by Dill.
Hi guys, first time being on Leaf's channel. I'm a veteran of Nick's channel, but I've never been here before, surprisingly.
Oh my gosh, well, welcome. Happy to have you on here. And I'm also joined by, you guys may have heard of him. I think his name is IAmTheLionRider.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Hey, you probably missed me. I've been away a little bit, but yeah. I mean, we need to come back for Capron at least. Capron was very important, and you have been taking good care of the park since my brief hiatus. So
I sure hope I have.
You've been doing a good job. I've been enjoying the episodes and stuff. You know,
I appreciate it. It's always fun just to pop back in here and bang out a couple exhibits. Like the goat one was pretty fun. I did miss having you on here. Admittedly, I could have went to Dill for some comfort voiceovers, but I know my resources now, and I'll be sure to reach out to him if I ever do need to. But yeah, here we are actually working on, well, a random door. So this is honestly one of the things that I should not have spent this much time on.
you did the.
This is just like the little keeper entrance over here, right next to the
individual door knob.
I did, yes.
That's dedication.
That is dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasted my time on that, which came out pretty good. But I think we should probably talk about like literally everything else that has happened with the series.
That's true.
So I'm not sure if Dill wants to give his perspective of what happened at Capron Park Zoo.
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I met these two for the first time at Capron. We all were like, well, okay, so maybe should we tell the story of how that happened?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I work at Capron. I work there seasonally. I'm a camp counselor there, and I get a text from my boss saying, "Hey, we have some questions about the Capron Park videos being done on YouTube." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Oh God, is this what's gonna happen? Am I being fired?" But no, I was like, yeah, that's my buddy Leaf and my buddy Nick. They do that. They go to the zoo and take a lot of reference images and stuff. And she was like, well, yeah, it would be great to have them here sometime, and we could like talk to them. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So I let these guys know, and we all met up at Capron. It was my first time meeting them. They're amazing people, by the way. Nick and Leaf, they're great.
I'm a lot shorter in person.
He is.
That is very true.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a really fun time. It was a pleasure to meet both of them, and it was interesting to walk around the zoo, talk about the things that I know about the zoo, because I've been working here for about a year and a half now, so it was really interesting. Yeah.
And it was just really fun just getting to meet you and getting to meet like all of our new friends over there. Oh my gosh, can we give a huge shout out to all of our new buddies?
Yeah, that's true. So when we were there, we were like celebrities at the zoo. It was very odd. So we were walking around for a bit, and then Dill comes in and he's like, okay, so my boss says that at least some of the staff have like they're like subscribed to your channels and stuff, but like they don't know what you guys look like. So like we just kind of aimlessly like kind of walked around the zoo and did like a few laps or whatever to meet people. And then he's like, oh, that guy over there, that guy's Rob. He's like, I know him. I'll introduce you. So then he introduces us to Rob, who is the zoo. He does all the habitat. So he's like the habitat designer / zoo handyman lead. I don't know. He's one of the top people though at the zoo, and he's like, "Oh, Rob's cool. Hold on, I'll introduce you guys." So we go over there, we meet Rob, and then the only thing was I don't know if Leaf was in the same boat, but we didn't know what to expect because we were invited to come to the zoo to meet the staff, but we were like, what are we expecting? I don't know. Or did they want to like hang out with us the whole time, or is it just kind of like a hi, love your videos, see ya? And so like that was a thing, but everyone there was super nice. So met up with Rob. He chatted with us for like probably at least a half hour. And then later in the day, we also met with Kylie, who has kind of been our liaison to Capron. So she actually was the one who reached out to Leaf, I think, right?
Yep.
So she reached out to Leaf and said, like, hey, I love your videos or whatever. You should come in sometime. So she was super cool. We also met, so she is the lemur, head lemur keeper. So she's the one that goes out onto the lemur islands and stuff.
Okay. I wish that was my job.
And then she was also there with, I believe her name is Casey. Forgive us if we get it wrong. But she was all super nice. She was talking with all of us or whatever. She is the... I believe she's in charge of the carnivores, so she does I know she does the bower goat and alpacas, but I think she also does Vicky's habitat, which we're working on right now, as well as the lions. So both of them super nice people. They were all really supportive of both of our channels, so that was really nice.
I just love, one of my favorite memories already was when we're just talking there with I think it was Casey, I could be entirely mistaken, but then we just hear, "Are you the people from YouTube?" And I'm like, oh god, it's real.
Literally in
our impact.
Yeah. Well, so then, because I guess I can also talk about the second time I went. Because I went one time on my own for a thing that maybe I'll be able to talk about in the future. But I went there a second time. That was another funny situation where I was also like trying to I was meeting some of the other people, so I was able to meet like Lino, who is basically Rob's like right hand man as well. He's helps out Rob with like the habitat design and stuff. But like it's just funny how like when I had to introduce myself, people are like, "So who exactly are?" And I'm like, I'm the YouTuber who recreates Capron online." And it was just like, okay. I mean, I guess that's just the situation.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a cutout right there, just because Premiere is being a little bit of a pain in the butt, but we're still rolling. Nothing can keep us down.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can talk about what you're doing today. What
are you doing today?
My favorite habitat. So
Vicky's habitat is your favorite habitat?
I mean, it's Capron, so you know, like
that is true.
You know, favorite is relative because they're not the cream of the crop habitat wise in the world, but Vicky's is definitely. I mean, I just love Vicky. Vicky is like my absolute favorite animal at the zoo.
Oh my gosh, Vicky is so personable. Whenever you see her, like she'll even look right at you when you're like right where the fish tank is, apparently. But she'll like kind of pop her head out, kind of look at you, and then go back into her little cave. She's such a little sweetheart. I love her.
Yeah, I love it. I can, anytime that I have extra time on my shift or something, or like before I was a camp counselor, when COVID times were really hitting, I was a capacity tracker, and I would have like 10, 15 minutes before my shift would end, and I'd just walk around the zoo, do a little loop, and I'd always have to say hi to Vicky and tell her how I was doing that day. And the funny thing is, she would listen. She'd like look at me while I was talking, and I was like, that's super cool.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for Capron, because growing up, like I love bears in general, but like I didn't really gain an appreciation for sloth bears until Capron, just because I don't know, like I love them. They're literally just like giant fur pom-poms that just run around, and like they're so matted and stuff. And I don't know, they're easily. Polar bears are still always going to be my number one, but sloth bears are definitely my number two, just because of Vicky. Like, because yes, she's such a charismatic bear where she always, she always has that. I guess the way to describe a sloth bear, they're like dogs where they're always they have the same kind of like dumb smile on their face no matter what. Like they're always just kind of panting but happy. Like, and yeah, that's Vicky in a nutshell. And so, sometimes she'll be. Usually she hangs out by the cave. That's kind of standard bear in captivity behavior. But no, I've seen her because I've been there quite a few times now, and yeah, she'll go in her little pond and she'll forage for food. She goes on her climbing frame sometimes. I guess we could talk about that. That's literally how long it's been since you and I have been on an episode together. We did the night at Capron together.
Oh my gosh!
I forgot that was a thing.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't think it was an official zoo event, as far as I'm
It was
aware.
not. It was the Friends of Capron Park Zoo who ran it. Which should I describe what they are?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So for anyone who isn't aware, so the Friends of Capron Park Zoo is basically just like a group of local volunteers that really just like Capron Park Zoo. And so they like to host a lot of like fundraiser events and like special events and stuff for the zoo to like help raise money and stuff. And yeah, from what I can tell, like I obviously now I've like talked to a lot of the employees and stuff. They're like, yep, we're not really affiliated with them, but like they just kind of give us, the extra marketing and fundraising we need. So you can't really, bash them for it. So
I like it.
So we went to one of their events. So it was like it was like any of the like
Brew
at the zoo type things, or like a sip and stroll, that sort of thing. If we're talking about like Roger Williams or something. Basically the same thing, but it was very, very packed. I will say that.
Okay, so Capron, but I don't think they would ever be prepared to have that kind of capacity.
No, and again, like I've talked to like some of the other people at the zoo and stuff, and they're like, yeah, like events like that, they can get up to like 6,000 people and stuff. Which is insane.
Jesus.
And the park isn't big, so like there's a decent amount of parking for like it's not a big zoo or anything, so like, and the park itself doesn't like draw too much traffic. So under normal circumstances, the parking lot is perfectly sufficient. But during those events, yeah, it was crazy. So, for instance, like I was driving to meet Leaf and his girlfriend, and they were ahead of us, and literally I had to park in the grass, just like at the almost like edge of the park itself, and then walk like all the way to the front entrance to meet them. And then there was food trucks there, so there was lines wrapped around the zoo. They had drink lines, so like you had to like what I did like about that. That the event was very chaotic, but I will say they did give you free drink vouchers though, so that was pretty good. So since you're spending $10 on a drink anyway, like basically the entire event was like only like what, $10 or like give or take, because you got a $10
more or
drink
less.
with it.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much.
It was like $25 a ticket, so like it was, you basically only paid like $10-15, which is basically just zoo admission. So that was kind of nice. Funny story about that. So it's obviously a 21 plus event, but do you want to say that?
Yeah, so me and Emily, shout out to Emily, hi honey, I love you. We were in line, and right behind us was like this little 5-year-old with his grandma. And grandma thought it would be slick to bring this little kid to brew at the zoo. And the lady running the tickets was like, does he have an ID? And the grandma was like, no, of course he doesn't have an ID. He's like, whatever, like 10 years old.
Yeah.
11, 10. And she's like, yeah, he can't come in here. This is 21 up. And it was just like, oh my god, like, did you not read the event before you even came here? Like,
well, it was funny because like you could smell the alcohol and food trucks from like a mile away. So, well, the only thing I did feel bad about, you could definitely tell that like Capron normally does not run night events because all of the zoo animals were like weirded out. They were like, what are you people doing here?
Yeah.
Like,
Capron's not really fit to handle night, which I don't blame Capron for that because it's a frickin' zoo. But it was dark.
It was very dark. Like, so for instance, like the lions were obviously active because lions are nocturnal, and that is a plus of events like that. That I will actually always give them credit for. Animals that are nocturnal normally are way more active.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the lions were very active that night, but the issue is there's no spotlights or anything in their enclosure, so it was just pitch black, and all you just saw was like the little like white in their eyes, like from the reflectivity and stuff. And then
I will say it was a pretty decent event for going out, having a drink, having some food. But
yeah, it was good for what it was, because like, well, because that was the other thing is obviously like the four of us that went, like it made sense for us because we were interested in the zoo portion. There was definitely just a lot of adults there to get drunk, and that was that. Like that was their night out. Was just we're here to get drunk and listen to the band, which was good. You know, it was a pretty decent.
It was a vibe.
Yeah, and the food was good. Very, very, very long lines, but you know, food was good.
What can you do?
So yeah, that's the only thing is like, would I recommend an event like that under those same circumstances? No. If you put a cap on the amount of people, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was way too busy for what the zoo in particular could handle. And that was a complaint I had about Roger Williams too. Like in fairness, like Roger Williams, when they run their events, it's kind of the same thing. Like just the idea is, hey, we want to have a night out, but you're spending 99% of your time waiting in lines to get drinks, and then by the time you get them, they're, you know, you don't even want them. You're just like, okay, well, exactly. So, but zoo at night, good across the board. I love zoos at night. That is always a good thing. So yeah, do you want to talk about Vicky's habitat?
I haven't heard a peep from Dill in a while. Dill, why don't you tell us about Vicky?
Do you want me to tell you about Vicky?
I would love for you to tell us about Vicky.
I got you, man. All right, so Vicky is a female sloth bear. We had a male living with her up until, oh my god, when was it? It was 2 or 3 years ago when he passed. He was on the older side, but Vicky's on the younger side. She's actually the granddaughter of the original sloth bears at Capron Park named Amy and Goof. So she is the granddaughter, so it's kind of cool that the legacy kind of lives there.
We can pull up the lineage, because they have a nice infographic.
Right, yeah. But I forget where she was born. That's why I'm trying to look for the chart. I have it somewhere.
I have it.
It's in our DMs. I already got it.
There we go. Hold on.
It'll be playing like all the way across the screen right now for like the duration of this entire conversation.
Actually, it doesn't even say where she was born.
Oh, there it is.
It says she was born in 2013, but it doesn't specify where.
Housed at Brookfield Zoo, so she was probably born at Brookfield, I'd assume.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. So
I will say that infographic, I don't understand how you're supposed to follow it at all. Like, I don't know who's married to who, and who's kid, and who's at what zoo. Because it just says housed, and then there's lines, but it doesn't really explain things like that.
Yeah, but it's a cool. I think it's really cool that we've kind of carried on the legacy. And I'm trying to think when Amy and Goof died. I think it was 2013. So it's nice that, you know, the legacy lives on, and I think that's really cool when zoos do that.
Yeah, I like that, because like it's one of those things where long term I'd definitely be fine with like Capron keeping sloth bears, because they're just so cool. I love them.
All right, sorry about that. Vicky and Goof just absolutely broke this. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, it's okay though. It happens. But yeah, I checked during our little technical difficulty break. Closest zoo to us with sloth bear is Philly, so I mean,
Yeah, so it's pretty unique because
it's pretty unique. That's like 5 hours away. I'm actually going there on Friday.
oh, there you go.
Hey.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
no.
exciting.
I was gonna say I was like in between like, you know, my hiatus. I've also gone to like so many zoos, and like in the meantime, like I went to Bronx recently. I went to Central Park, like, but yeah, no sloth bears. So actually, I did go to National recently, and
That's
they
true.
do have sloth bear. I love that. I saw the sloth bears fighting at National. That's the coolest thing you can see. Because, like I said, they look like big, like, furry pom-poms. So, like, when they start fighting, it just looks like two things of clumps of hair just fighting. So this cave section that Leaf's working on right now, though, I just wanted to mention this. So I mentioned how in real life, Vicky always likes to just hang out. And I don't know what the inside of it is. I assume it's just concrete. I mean, Dill, you've been in there, right? It's just...
I've not been... back to that
there.
specific area. I've been back with the lions, but yeah, it's just
probably concrete.
Probably concrete,
Yeah.
I'd assume.
But I know Vicky hangs out there a lot, so I was like, nah, Leaf, if you're gonna do it, you need to make sure that you actually like make it so that hypothetically a sloth bear could walk back there. I've said this when I eventually get the map back. I'm probably gonna touch this up to actually add the interior of the building for that, just because I feel like it's justifiable enough. By the way, I love that gravel technique you did. I even mentioned it to him. I'm like, oh, you're using Kai's mod, right? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, why don't you just place down the gravel path? And he's like, oh yeah, I should have did that.
I really wanted to do it custom.
It does look good though. Like your technique looks really good, so I like that.
It's very realistic. I mean, coming from somebody who's seen this exhibit almost daily, when the other day when you were showing it off, you were there. I was like, oh my god.
I remember.
I was absolutely blown away, and that's something that, you know, these two have done ever since I've met them. About a year and a half ago for Nick, about a year ago for Leaf. They've always blown me away with their builds, especially with the recreations, because these are places that I've been, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've stood there, and it's like it's so real.
So I do want to address this, right? Just because we're over there, we have to address the elephant in the room. Who ripped off who? Did Roger Williams rip off the jump thing from Capron, or vice versa? I think Roger Williams had it first.
I'm not sure.
Because I will say Capron's is very crudely done. It's just done on the blacktop, so...
You gotta get them an official one.
Yeah, it's just... Oh, we need to hit up Rob. Rob, listen. The four of us are going to come together. We're going to build a brand new jump thing. And it's going to be way better than it's going to blow Roger Williams away. Yeah. It's going to be the best jump thing in all of New England.
How far can you jump?
How far can you jump? I'm going to show you. We're going to break it down. It's going to have like motion sensors. You can see exact precision. You can compare. There's a leader. You can have a leaderboard.
Jeez.
Like imagine that if there was like a weird a zoo jump game leaderboard in New England. There's like a championship. I actually had that proposal once for like a Roger Williams thing. It would be a funny competition if they did that. They had like a how far can you jump championship, and see
I'd go to that.
Yeah, everyone. It would be like a full on tourney system, and then whoever can jump the farthest or whatever consistently gets I don't know. They could do like a two zoo ticket pass or something.
I may only be 3 feet tall, but I think I could win it.
I mean, it was funny when Julie did it last time. It was I think Julie got fly or something, which is the lowest you could get. I got moon bear, which was I was pretty happy with that one.
Damn.
But yeah, I love that you put all of the detail. You even did a custom brick wall, and I feel like we didn't even address that, but that's also really
How long
sick.
did that take? That looks like that took a while.
I just copied that from the other side.
Yeah, that's true, because you did that all for the goats, right? Yep.
Yep. And I'm fixing up all the foliage in here, just all these tiny details I loved just kind of collecting. It's just really fun.
Yeah, it looks really good. I think the Capron recreation's finally coming together now. I've already said
I even do this over here, like
yeah,
the
the
tire
little-
marks,
Yeah, the little
or like the tire
backstage
treads. I
thing.
don't know what you call them, but I really wanted to get those in there. But yeah, we should probably talk about what's happening in the next episode.
Oh yeah.
I think I might be tackling the leopard exhibit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that
Lacey.
sounds about right. Lacey is her name. Okay.
Heck yeah.
I saw
Emily actually won the paw print from her from the Brew at the Zoo night. So that's exciting right there. We now own a
piece of
Paw
Capron.
amen. But yeah, we'll be excited to see what's happening in the next episode. It's going to be on my channel, I assume, but definitely do go give some love to Nick on his channel. Yeah.
Enough said. Enough said.
Yeah, enough said.
Watch Roger Williams. Do it. You can
Rewatch it, yes.
You can listen to me like talk about random stuff.
That's all I listen to you do. So
Yeah,
just
good
give the
point.
people at home the opportunity to do that. That's perfect.
It's like being in one of our Discord calls, which is very chaotic.
Amen. Well,
Yeah.
all right, we'll end it there. I'll play some more B-roll after this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Take care and have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Go visit the zoo.